Hi, I'm Grant Nelson. This is my dog Bailey, and welcome to Mustache Off Grid. Got her! Finally! Bailey, come here. Come here. Good boy. Yes, good boy. Alright guys, if we can get 20 likes or 5 subscribers on this video, I'll give this guy a dog treat on the end of next week's video. Good boy. Hi, I'm Grant Nelson with the Mustache Off-Grid YouTube channel. In case you're new to the channel, I cover various off-grid and homesteading topics. I live off-grid in southern Missouri in a one-room cabin, completely off-grid, no public utility hookups. So that's a little bit about me and the channel. And if you're new to the channel, if you wouldn't mind giving a thumbs up, if we can get 20 likes and 5 new subscribers, I'll give Bailey a dog treat on next week's episode. He's messing around back here. Bailey! Bailey! Come here! Bailey! Bailey! Come here! Bailey! Come on! Come here! Come on! Do you find some copperheads in there, boy? He's messing around. I don't know what he's doing, but anyway, if you're new to the channel, if you wouldn't mind giving a thumbs up on the video, if we can get 20 likes and 5 new subscribers and or on the video, I'll give him a dog treat on next week's video. So anyway, I'll get into the topics today. You guys probably saw the intro. I had all the fire going and burning some leaves, and I put it out with some water. And that was really one of the topics I wanted to discuss in today's video, is water. It was one thing. I was talking with one of my friends the other day, and they live off-grid and homestead, and water was one of the things that we were discussing as a, fundamental need on a homestead, or if you're going off-grid. And as far as it goes, the thing about water, it's a fundamental necessity on an off-grid homestead. Now, that being said, there's a wide variety of ways to get water, but when I mean it's a fundamental necessity of life, you got to think of like how when NASA or, all these space people go and, they're looking at all these other planets, they talk about finding water on Mars and the importance of water to sustain life. And not only plant life, human life, animal life, all life needs water to live, and that's why they're looking for water in these desolate planets and places. And there's a lot of off-gridders that live off-grid in the desert, and they haul water from a place, or there's a lot of people that get their water from water catchment, which I really like water catchment. I really do. I have a little rain catchment that I use, but I have a solar well pump, which I'll put a short video just so you guys can see what that is. Alright guys, so all you do is flip the switch for this. You flip the switch to on. So flipped it on. And then as long as it's got full sun, there's the pump head right there. As long as it's got full sun, it should just come out right here on the end of the hose. Let's see here. But you can see, comes out nice steady stream. But anyway, water is a fundamental necessity. When I had this fire going here at the beginning of the video, you got to keep in mind it's not just to drink, and it's not just to grow your plants and your animals. Obviously, you need water to keep your animals alive, to keep your fruits and vegetables alive, and to keep yourself alive. But also you need it for hygiene, keeping yourself clean. You need it to put out fires like that. You need it for the wildlife. You need it for trees and things like that, which kind of falls into the plants category. But you need it for cleaning. You know, cleaning out your chimney or cleaning your dishes. It's a fundamental necessity. And like I said, there's a wide variety of ways that you can get water. But it's important. It's important. And talking about the importance of water, you know, and how you're going to get water, they say for every 1,000 square feet of roof space, for every inch of rainfall, you can get, I think, 500 gallons or 1,000 gallons of water, something like that. There's a calculation for it. I'll type it on the video here. On water catchment. So if you're building a building, you can actually catch it a lot of times right off a cabin roof or a shed. Pardon the mess on my porch here, guys, but I just figured I'd show you my water catch off the roof edge here, and it goes into this 500-gallon tank. I mostly use this for like watering the trees and sheep and stuff like that, so just figured I'd show you guys the water catch off the roof. Or something like that. Actually, this shed right there, I'm planning to put a water catch off that. And I usually shower actually back there off the corner of it. Just figured I'd mention that. But I'm gonna put a I've got a 275-gallon tote I'm gonna hook up off the edge of that. Just put a gutter in there. I have I'll probably make a video on that when I do it. But anyway, water is a necessity. And when I talked about hygiene, off-grid, a lot of us have probably been camping. You've probably been out in the woods camping, or, you know, you've been to a campsite. And some of them have accessible water, some of them don't. Usually people don't go camping for more than a day or two. And a lot of people, when they first come out to their land, living off-grid, it's like camping all the time. It definitely was like that for me. I was blessed because I had good neighbors and they let me get some water at their pump. Otherwise I would have probably got a tank and filled it up in town or something like that when I first came out here, the first year when I was first coming out here. But the point of that is, if you're out camping, usually you don't go for more than a day or two, and you start to feel dirty. You start to feel real dirty and, you know, slimy, grimy, and you know, and you're never going to be as clean off grid as you are on grid. But it's important to take care of yourself. You look at overseas, you know, you hear stories from like Vietnam, and everyone probably remembers, you know, the movie Forrest Gump, and they said take care of your feet. You know, people get fungal infections and everything like that, and it can get real nasty if you don't stay clean. It's very important to wash your hands, very important to wash yourself, and stay clean out here, because if you don't, it's going to be a mess. And water is part of staying clean. I also was thinking to myself, you know, when you're trying to disconnect from the grid like that, and you're out there and you're basically camping, you know, obviously, like I said, there's health issues with trying to stay clean, and the diseases that it can bring, fungal, bacterial, you know, just nasty things if you don't stay clean. It's also important for washing your laundry, if you're not washing your laundry in town, but also your blanketry. You might end up having bed bugs or some nasty things like that if you aren't washing your blanketry and making sure your blankets are clean. Um, you know, as far as it goes, like I said, there's fungus and mold and bacteria and things that you need to stay clean, but also washing your clothes. Um, there's a lot of reasons that water is important to existing, and it's also helps with preventative maintenance with hydration, but also with staying clean and preventing bacterial and fungal infections and things like that, cleaning wounds. Water is very important for a lot more things than we think. These are just some of the things I'm naming. Um, but like I said, if you're out there camping full time and you don't have water access, you might have a case of bottled water is usually what people bring when they go to like these festivals and things and camp out. Um, you know, and usually those are some pretty grimy places. Um, but the point is that um, if they lived like that and they were dirty like that for however long, um, how many people are going to get, you know, diseases from that? How many skin infections is there going to be? How many open wounds and sores are going to get infected? You know, how much illness from your dirty hands if you don't have water to clean them? Um, was actually pretty interesting. Today in church, they were talking about hand washing in the Bible. And they were talking about hand washing before we even knew about the benefits of it. You know, kind of interesting that they were that was some of their practices in the Bible, was to wash your hands. And actually, the story was that I think the Pharisees or the Jews were asking questions about why the disciples didn't wash their hands before they ate or something. Like, it was a common practice back then. It's very interesting that they were washing their hands before all the things we know now. You know, that they claim they didn't know back then. But anyway, that's a whole nother topic. The point is hygiene. Another thing with hygiene, you know, off-grid, obviously, is washing yourself, making sure you're clean, washing your clothes. This is a shower bag. You can buy them. This one my sister got me for my birthday, actually, which is really nice. But works real well. You just put it out in the sun and it warms it up. And it's got a little shower head. Works pretty good. So you guys can see how that works. And sometimes I just boil up a pot of water too, honestly. It's a little bit quicker sometimes doing that than letting the solar thing heat up in the sun. But anyway, just figured I'd show you guys that. Making sure you have clean clothes. But also, I was going to talk about something a lot of people probably don't think about, brushing your teeth. You know, if you're out there and you're really trying to get away from society, you know, and you don't have dental and you don't want to go to the dentist and get your teeth fixed, brushing your teeth is a way to get great preventative maintenance off-grid. You know, it's cheap, it's easy, and, you know, it helps you stay clean and helps your mouth stay clean and helps your teeth. You only get one set of teeth. You know, obviously you can buy false teeth and things like that, you know, but it costs money. And, you know, if you're trying to actually leave society, that's something you actually should think about is dental. And I think brushing your teeth is, you know, important. You know, I talked about the importance of water for showering and cleaning yourself. When I talked about camping and when I first came out here, I was staying in a tent and I had a couple gallon milk jugs and I would fill them with water and I would set them in the sun and I would pour those over my head to clean myself. I'd pour them over my head and work my way down my body and soak myself up and rinse myself off. And, you know, when you're first going off grid, that might be some things to consider, you know, before you go out there is how are you going to stay clean and how are you going to get water to drink? You really need to have a thought for those two things before you go out to the land, because those are really important. Um, let's see, what else do I have here on the list here? Oh yeah, I was also going to talk about water just for keeping your sandy a little bit. You know, eventually you see all these off-grid channels and they've got fancy hot tubs and shower houses and pools, and I think eventually I would like to get like a down maybe, I mean it's going to be a hillbilly rig, but I think somewhere down there I'd like to get like a pool and maybe like a hot tub and stuff like that. Just think it'd be nice to have, you know. Sometimes there's some things that you just think would be nice to have. And I talked about in some of my other videos prioritizing your wants and your needs when you live off-grid. And that's definitely a want. I mean, that's something I might not get for 10 or 15 years out here, and I know that. Maybe even longer than that. I might never do it. It's just a project that's in my mind. Kind of like that water catchment. It's not a need. It's definitely a want, but it would make things a little more efficient and easier. So that's one that I might actually prioritize a little higher than my pool and hot tub I want to put in. I even thought about doing like a koi pond for aquaculture stuff. I might put in a koi pond someday, but just something to think about. You know, the importance of water, whether it's a pond, stream, water catch, well, or some other source of water. Hauling water, whatever you're doing, it's very important to have a plan for that going out there. I mean, when I say very important, I mean it's critical. You might die out there if you don't have those things. I mean, think about if you go out there and you have a car, and you go out there to your land, and you're 30 miles from town, and you have no neighbors, and your battery on your car dies, and you have no water. You know, what are you going to do in that situation? I mean, these are things to think about, and water is important to have. I mean, if you have continual water, like a big cistern tank or rain catch cistern or something like that, or something where you can store a lot of it, that's good. Or if you have a pump that you can turn on, that's good. I stay off the electrical grid with my stuff because I have a solar well pump. And, you know, I think that there might come a day, you know, someday when maybe they do cut off the electricity and we can only use so much, you know, I don't know. You know, maybe that's a little bit crazy to say, but, you know, I see the writing on the wall, the way the world's going. Anyway, I thought that hygiene was important, and you know, generally I wanted to talk a little bit about overall health and kind of tie it together. And you know, I talked about brushing your teeth, showering, and staying clean as preventative maintenance for your health. But also, I think physically taking care of your health is important too. You know, it's a good thing to get into, and you'll get a lot of a good workout just working your land. And you hear a lot of these off-grid channels talk about clean eating and healthy living and clean living. I think there's some to some of that stuff. I definitely think that some of the stuff you produce is a little bit healthier and better for you, especially the meat that you produce. I mean, it's night and day healthier. Eggs are especially night and day healthier as well, and you can really tell the difference. But I also think physically, I like to run. Actually, it's funny, I wore my 5K shirt today. I actually got second in this 5K in Thomasville. And I really, I like to run 5 miles once a week. Now, I make it a goal to run 5 miles a week, whether that's 2.5 mile runs, or 5 1-mile runs, or 1 5-mile runs. I make that a goal in my mind. And I usually run 5 miles in one run. It's really about 5.3 that I run. But when I do that, the reason I do that is because I hate the idea of having to allocate each day a mile. I mean, I'm like, I can stick to 1 time a week. I can commit to running 1 time a week, you know, for an hour. And maybe, you know, if you're, you know, different you know, physically, maybe, you know, walking or something like that might be good for you. One thing I find is sometimes I do walk a little bit and it's just peaceful. Walking through the woods and down these backcountry roads, it's actually very peaceful. But the main thing is, I think staying out of the sofa chair, eating healthy, and watching what you eat, and watching, you know, what you're putting into your body, and hydrating yourself, drinking good water, nothing with this chlorine and tap water and stuff like that, and you know, taking care of your mind too. I like to think, you know, this is kind of funny, but mind, body, and soul, like Bruce Lee says. Take care of your mind, take care of your body, and take care of your soul. You know, and I think there's some to that. You know, I'm a Christian, so I read the Bible, and that, I believe, takes care of a lot of my soul. But, you know, I think there's some to him saying that, and it makes sense if you really think about it. Um, but yeah, it's been real hot out here, and the water's crossed my mind multiple times this week. As far as it goes, I was talking with my friends, and they were discussing water because they don't have a water hookup yet, or, you know, they don't have a really solid water setup yet. I would say that, and they're working on it though. And the thing about it is, I was talking with them about it, and I was watering my trees, and we've actually kind of been, these last few weeks we have not gotten a lot of rain, and usually we get quite a bit of rain out here, but these last few weeks it's been very hot and dry. So I've kind of been watering my trees and some plants and things like that, and it's just kind of crossed my mind that this would be a good topic to discuss for the video here. Um, but yeah, water. And you know, I would also say that, you know, the most important water, obviously Jesus, the living water, you know, that's the most important water. But I think that, you know, having some actual H2O, hydrogen 2 oxygen, is probably a good thing to make sure you have before you go out to your property. Make sure you have some water, um, and it's sustainable for life. You know, I was talking about in my other video getting pigs down here, and pigs don't have sweat glands. They don't have sweat glands, and they drink a lot of water because they get hot, you know, like that. They don't have sweat glands, and they roll in the mud because they don't have sweat glands, and it just adds to the point of how serious water is out here. It's kind of interesting too. There's a lot of cattle ponds out here, and ponds in the cattle pastures, and you see the cattle wading out there in the ponds when you're driving down the road, and you know, it's just really a sight to see. It's funny. It just reminds you of like a water buffalo in those Animal Planet videos, I guess you see. But other things that I was going to talk about here was, when you go out to your property, I talked about water here, but also once you sit down and you stop working, you need to prioritize your tasks that you're working on, but you also need to actually work on those tasks. And I like to think of living off grid as either a part-time or a full-time job, you know, depending on how you want to do it. You need to put in a certain amount of hours every week, not only just to maintain what you have, but also to create new. Especially if you're going out there on raw land, you're going to have a lot of things that need to be done and built and come across, and you can't sit around and hope that they'll just appear in front of you. You need to go out there and actually get them and do them. You know, make everything a priority. Like I remember when I came out here, water and shelter was big priority, so I made sure that first year I had my shed put out here and I had my well drilled, and I installed the pump on the well the very next spring. But I mean, the point is that you need to take it as a full or part-time job. There's always things to work on. You know, I would say myself, I probably put in I would say 20 to 30 hours a week maintaining everything. You know, just feeding and watering the animals in the morning, new projects, new things I'm building, you know, working on old projects, maintaining things, cleaning things. But you do need to take it seriously. Take it like a job, like you would a job when you go out there. Otherwise, nothing will ever get done if you go out there and you kind of just work on things willy-nilly. You know, it just won't, nothing will get done. You need to take your hands and move stuff and build stuff and make stuff and take it like you would take a job. You know, if you're going out to land and you want to build a cabin, and some guy in the suburbs has a lot and he's going to build a house, you know, you guys both need to take that priority, probably the same seriousness. He's doing for money, yours you're doing to build a house. But you know, the point is that you need to take living off grid like a job. Now, I'm not saying that you aren't going to have freedom of your time and freedom of, you know, like a lot of freedom when you go off grid. You're kind of free from the system. In my mind, I feel so free, so much freer than I've ever felt in my life since I've moved out here. But just keep in mind that you are going to have some obligations that you have to get done, or, you know, you won't make it out there. That's just the reality of the situation. So, anyway, I think that's all I got for today, guys. It's a little bit shorter of a video, but I think it was important to address. You know, before you go out to your land, consider how you're going to stay clean, hygiene, consider your water, because those things are going to be very important. Consider taking care of your health out there, and different things for that. You know, get physically active, move around a little bit, and, you know, free yourself. And last but not least, you know, take your job, you know, living off grid seriously. Take it seriously. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. God bless you all. Hope you have a wonderful day. And, you know, God bless. Have a great day. What do you think, boy? I got him these treats here. We'll see if he likes them, guys. You ready, boy? You ready? Hey, you're already sitting. Hey, come out here again. Come out here. You ready? Sit, 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 sit. Nice catch, dude. We'll give you one more. You ready? You ready? Ready, boy? Hey, go out there. Go out there. Ready, sit, sit, sit. Nice catch. Nice catch. Good boy. Good boy. You ready? You ready? There's a piece of pumpkin. You ready? Nice catch, dude. Bailey. Sit. 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 Come on. Sit. 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 Stay. 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 Hey, sit. Sit. Nice catch. You ready? Sit. 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 Nice catch, dude.